your comfortable spot, whether it's on a block or a cushion or on a chair. And whatever has been happening this morning already before you arrive here, maybe scan through that and allow yourself to land in this moment. Maybe taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling any of that busyness or sleepiness, just exhaling it out so that you can land here for the next hour. Come back to a stiller place, because from a stiller place we can do so much more. We can have energy for so many more things if we come from that stable, balanced place to start with. And making any movements that feel good, to feel comfortable, and noting in your body anywhere that feels that it might need a little bit more attention this morning. Anytime that movement elicits a deeper breath, just go with that and settle into your contact with the ground through your sits bones, legs, maybe ankles, maybe feet. Notice your breathing, the breath, the bridge between the mind and the body. So each reflecting the other through the state of the breath. And by working on the breath with pranayama, excuse me, with awareness on the breath, we can transform both the body and the mind without any desperation to do that, just using the breath, or just focusing on the breath. So notice you can grasp the in-breath and the out-breath, and then begin to follow it. And as you follow the breath and it feels good, allowing expansion in your lungs, allowing a contraction as you exhale. And if you're at that space where you can really finely tune your connection with your sensations whilst you're breathing, maybe you get in contact with qualities that are there. Maybe it's a quality in the throat as you're breathing in. You're breathing in through your nose, but it's going down through your throat. Maybe it's a quality of expanding through the upper body. And maybe it's a real sense of that exhale leaving the body. You're getting to know your breath so very intimately. Notice if there's anywhere else that you can expand with that breath. Perhaps you want to expand into your back, into the back ribs, into the top of the shoulders or the back of the neck. And if there's anything that you want to let go of, maybe some persistent thoughts or some symptoms, then see if you want to let those go with the exhale. Imagine you can see anything you don't want just floating away on your exhale. Two more full deep breaths, in and out. Allowing your breath to come back to a more regular rhythm. And then slowly opening your eyes, noticing if you are present here, ready to move. So I talked about doing some work with joints this morning. I'm seeing a lot of people with where their joints are reacting to the change of season, including mine. And I might have said that last week, but I started to do some African drumming last week and the week before. And my hands, my fingers and bones started to feel it. So I've had to be very mindful of them this week. And so thinking about joints, I thought we'll bring that into the class. So just start by shaking out your wrists and fingers. Let your fingers move. And that brings up a breath. So it kind of says that there's some tension in there that wants to escape, and it escapes with the breathing. Almost like you could shake out through the end of your fingers anything that's holding on, any little bits of pain or discomfort or tiredness. And bring that to a stop, and just take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Make some circles with your hand, like you're wiping the inside of a pan. And reach away with your fingers. And as you're doing that, bring in the breath. So as you're wiping the pan in real life, you'll start to breathe as you're doing it. So inhale and an exhale. And you're supporting here by holding onto your wrist. Change the direction. And then just bring that hand onto the shoulder, the same shoulder, and make some circles with your elbow. So bringing the movement into the shoulder joint. And again, it's giving you time and space to be able to breathe into that shoulder and notice any sensations that are happening in the shoulder joint. Change the direction. And then just resting your hand down, maybe giving your shoulder a shake, and taking hold of your opposite wrist and making some circles, noticing if there's any difference with the one side to the other. Maybe one's a little bit more creaky, or less creaky. Change direction. Great. And then bring that hand onto the shoulder and let's move in up and behind with the elbow, circling the shoulder joint, imagining that ball and socket of the shoulder joint. And then changing direction. And then just resting down. And interlace your fingers and press your palms out towards me to start with. Inhale, and as you exhale, just pressing those fingers. So they're kind of lightly interlaced, you're not grasping, otherwise you've got less movement. Pressing the palm of your hand up towards the sky. And that might not be completely up above your head, maybe it's a bit more forward if your shoulders are not that or open. And then bend your elbows. We're going to do that with the breath. Inhale and exhale and press. So you're straightening your elbows out as well in this movement. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. The next time that you're there, and just holding that place with your hands, inhale and exhale over towards the right side. And then inhale and lift up, exhale over towards the left side. Noticing any opening. We're going to do that one more time to each side. Inhale to the top, exhale over to the right. Any movement happening in your back of your ribs. And exhale. Okay. And then back up to the center. Untangle your fingers and just float your arms down. Okay, so let's come onto all fours. And first of all, just landing on your hands. And then we're going to turn the top of the hand underneath. So it's the palms coming upwards and the fingers are facing back towards your knees, just on one side, just on one hand. And then see if you can straighten your arm, press the top of the wrist down towards the ground and being very mindful. You can feel exactly what's in your body. I can only guide you. So being mindful in that movement and just stretching out through the carpal tunnel, the wrist. Just a couple of times, maybe you press it towards the ground. And then actually from here, let's bring that hand back and put it underneath the knee and just press your knee onto your fingers. So just press around and you can actually give your fingers and hand, the palm of your hand, a bit of a massage with your own knee. So you bit of balancing at the same time. All those little points there. The knee's it's got different surfaces. It's got pointy surfaces and it's got big surfaces. So you can just you could move your hand as well if you wanted to, and just wash onto your fingers. So we're massaging the fingers, allowing the energy to be stimulated and flow. And then shake out that hand. Great. And then we're going to come to the other side. So we turn the hand under, palm faces up, fingers face towards the knee. And this one might feel slightly different. So being with this side with this left hand. And then if you can, do straighten your arm. And notice if your fingers there are able to spread out. And then just bring that hand back underneath the left knee. And then just use the knee, just use your weight. So you're just rocking slightly on and off the hand. The pad of your thumb, great place to massage, acupressure point, bringing some relief into your hands and fingers. So this is the kind of thing I've been doing this week to just let my fingers feel better. And I have to say that they do. So it's paid off. Maybe right to the end of your fingers. Okay, then bring your hand back onto the ground and then just rock yourself back to come onto your toes. So here we are, just pressing our toes under, and a couple of times inhale and lift, and exhale, sitting back onto your toes. So there we are, giving the toes as well a bit of a massage, a stretch. Shake out your hands. So let's come back onto all fours and let's move the spine. I mean, imagine how many joints there are in the spine, the bony connections, and let's look up towards the sky with our eyes and look towards the sky with our tailbone. The back's hollow. Just pause there for a moment. Is there anywhere in that movement that feels like it needs to be stretched out, or it's really benefiting from starting to? And we're going in the opposite direction. We let the head hang down so it stretches the back of the neck. Middle of the back presses up towards the sky. And even though you might have done this plenty of times before, notice if there's anything new to notice. Again, any areas in this position that feel like they need a bit more work. And then we're going to bring the breath in. Inhale. Like one of those toys that you can see where all the parts move separately. Just imagine your spine like one of those toy snakes, and you can feel movement between each vertebra. And if there's an area that you identified that needed a little bit more stretch, feel free just to stay there and to maybe go a bit freestyle into the stretch to bring any movement back in. And then coming back, landing somewhere in a flat back and curling your toes under. And as you do that, just give your hands a shake out again. You've been taking all the weight of your shoulders anyway, all the weight of your body, so you might be feeling it. And then come up to standing. Let's do a little bit more work on the feet. So your right foot, let's curl the toes under and give them a squash. And it's not only massaging the toes, but maybe the front of your ankle as well. So keeping all of those joints in the feet. There's 26 bones in the feet, so that's a lot of joints, lots of joins. And then make some circles with that foot. The rest of your body stays relaxed. And then can you change direction? A bit harder to go in the opposite direction. Okay, and plant your foot on the floor. Just notice how it feels. Feeling a bit more grounded, a bit more present. Into the other foot. Start really just turning it under and noticing that you're turning it under it with your choice. So it's not going to do any damage as long as you're very mindfully listening into that ankle and not overstretching, not going to a place that's painful or overstretching. And then see if you can make some circles with the toes. And change direction. And then plant that foot back on the floor. Okay, we're going to do a roll down. So as you roll down, feeling into your body, noticing again whether it might want to open up and stretch. So just let your chin drop towards your chest, bend your knees, and roll yourself forward slowly. So again, your spine is curving, your neck, joints in your neck are stretching, and as you get to the ground, just touching the ground with your fingers, let your head roll forward, maybe the weight comes forward onto your toes, and just pausing there. And then we're going to roll back up again. So press your feet into the ground, feel how your knees, like shock absorbers, they're just taking that weight to your legs. We're going to roll, we're going to come all the way up, so we're going to bring our hands all the way over our head, and then we're going to reach up towards the sky and come up onto our tiptoes. You might want to look forward to do that. And then as we bring our arms down, we're going to exhale. So inhale here and exhale, feet come flat on the ground. Roll down once more. Bend your knees so that your back is safely, your lower back safely bending. And then just nod a yes and a no with your head. Just to know that the back of your neck's loose. And then we're going to start to come away from the ground. Feel how the ground's supporting you through the knees, the shock absorbers, the joints of the hips. And then we're going to reach up, we're going to come onto our tiptoes as high as we can, reaching away towards the sky. And then inhale as we exhale, we're going to just let that exhale out and press our feet into the ground. We'll do that another couple of times, just the last bit, just the coming up onto the tiptoes. So inhale and exhale, and this time really stamp your feet down on the ground. So maybe they make a thud. One more time. Great, okay, and then just come to standing. All right, so come to the left side of your mat. Let's do a moon salutation, and bearing in mind that we're working on all of the joints, so all of the postures that we're going to do, just have in mind which of the joints that they're working on. So finding your mountain pose, you're on the left side of your mat. Inhale your arms up above your head. Take hold of your elbows and just reach out of your waist. We're going to go inwards towards the long side of the mat. So we're going to make a half moon towards the right side of the mat. We're going to inhale back up and exhale to the outside, the short side of the mat, stretching through your waist and your ribs. Imagine your ribs are lifting up towards the sky. We inhale back up and we exhale the arms down. And then we're going to take a big step to the right. So inhale, exhale, big step to the right. Bend your knees. Bring your arms into the goddess pose. So the hand palms are looking at each other. Knees are facing forward with your toes. And then we're going to make some twists from here. So inhale, exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Moving the waist. Inhale back to center. So carry on exhaling out into the twist. Inhaling back to center. And notice if you can smile. I notice that I'm concentrating hard, so perhaps my face is a little bit tense. So just imagine that you can turn the corners of your mouth up into a smile to enjoy this goddess pose. Okay, so we come back into the middle. From here, we're going to straighten the legs and reach the arms out level with the shoulders. Turn your right hip 90 degrees. We're coming into the warrior two. So we're looking at the fingers of our right hand. Knee in line with the toe. First of all, lifting yourself up tall, and then exhale, bend that right knee. Arms level with your shoulders, looking towards the middle finger of that right hand. And here, imagine the joints that are working, the ankle, the knee, the hips, the shoulders. Okay, inhale, and as you exhale, straightening that right leg, releasing the arms down, turn the toes to face the front, and then stepping left leg to join the right leg. You end up on the other side of the mat. That's the simplest way to say it. Okay, inhale, arms above your head. Let's do the straight arm version this time. So arms above your shoulders. Inhale, and as you exhale, to the left, towards the long side of your mat. Notice that your head's not rolling forward too much in between your arms. Inhale back up to center and exhale over to the short side of your mat. Inhaling back up, and then as we exhale, we're going to step the left foot out, big step into the goddess pose. Toes face forward, elbows at a right angle, and palms facing inwards. Okay, so we're just going to twist from the waist, arm the breath, and maybe actually just for a change, you can inhale in your nose and exhale out through your mouth. And coming back to the center. The next time you're back in the center, stretch your arms out level with your shoulders, straighten your legs, turn your left hip out, looking to the fingers of your left hand, smiling into the warrior two, and inhale yourself tall, exhale, bending that front knee, the back leg stays straight. And if you can feel the back ridge of the back foot pressing towards the ground, you'll know that you're stretching out the back leg as much as it's in your capability this morning. So 2 full deep breaths in and out, lifting upwards from your waist and your lower back. Perhaps there's an internal lift. And then exhaling the arms down, straighten the front leg, turn the toes to the front, and step the right foot to join the left. Okay. Close your eyes for a moment and feel what's moving in your body. Perhaps your breath is moving. Perhaps you feel that the energy through your muscles is moving. Or more here, more present. Maybe you can connect with the chi, that the chi is moving through your body, the life force, the vital energy created by the breath and the movement. And then opening your eyes. Let's do a balance pose before we do some stretches through the neck. So you've got a wall, have the wall behind you or to your left side, or a chair or something that's high that you could just reach out. We're just going to do a balance pose with a couple of variations. So you've got something to fall against if you wobble. All right. So looking for that spot straight in front of you, take the weight onto your left foot, lifting up your right knee. We've already opened up our ankle, so let's just take that knee out to the side. You might want to give it a hand. You could put your hand underneath and be careful that your back has not collapsed. Opening out through the hip joints here, and then bringing that leg back. And if you want to just touch it down to the ground, you might just need to move sideways on next to the wall. See if you can bring your heel up towards your butt to take hold of your top of your foot, or it might be your pants, or you might have a scarf or a tie around your foot. And as you move into this stretch, the knee, the right knee, the bent knee comes back towards the left knee, but don't let that tip you forward, not just yet. And then we can reach up with the opposite arm. So stretching, reaching up with your fingers, smiling into the balance. And you take 2 breaths into this balancing posture. And then bringing your arm down, bringing your leg down to the ground. And maybe it's your standing leg that needs to have a little bit of a shake. So we're coming to the opposite side. So first of all, left knee lifts up. And then if you want to either hold that with your hand, or maybe you don't need to, just opening that hip out so you've got a right angle through your foot and through your knee. And what can you do from there? Can you lengthen through your upper body? Standing leg strong, it's not locked. It might be a little bit bent, but it's engaged. It's working quite hard in this position. And then we come back into the center and we swing that leg back and we take hold of the front of the leg. And as we stretch the quads at the front, the knee comes back. Left knee comes back to join the right knee, and the heel comes towards here, towards the buttocks, but it doesn't, there's no goal. It doesn't have to touch, might be a little bit further out. And maybe your stretch this morning is just here, and just letting that be whatever it needs to be. That's absolutely fine if your knee's compromised. And then bringing that foot back down to the ground, shaking out your standing leg. And pausing for a moment. Actually step your feet slightly wider than your hips. Let's make some hip circles. It's great to keep this area loose and flexible. Lots of energy can get stuck around this area of your hips, of your lower abdominal organs, lower back, and then change direction. Okay, and then coming to rest. We're going to do a few stretches with the neck. So first of all, just looking up towards the sky, take your hand onto your throat and give a very gentle massage onto the muscles there, onto the underneath the chin, the layers there, knowing how much pressure you want to make in the massage there. And as you're doing that, look up towards the sky, open your mouth and stretch your lips wide and open and close, grimacing up towards your own ceiling. And maybe the nose wants to work on all of the cheeks and your eyes. And then maybe your jaws from side to side. Okay, and then let your chin just come back parallel with the ground. Let your hand rest. Okay, feel any opening around your throat and your chin. And then take hold of your right hand. I'm going to turn to the back to show you this stretch. So first of all, you take hold of your right hand and then you almost stretch it away from your shoulder. So you're lengthening the arm just by taking hold. And then I'm going to turn to the other side, because as we make that stretch, we can let our head just drop to the left side. So we're standing up straight, we're lengthening our neck, but our left ear moves towards our left shoulder, almost a bit like a circular movement in the stretch. And then inhale, exhale your head back up on top. Release your arm. I'm going to take hold of the left arm with the right wrist. And again, inhale as you exhale, just bringing that, stretching that arm down. And so it's the left shoulder that's being stretched away. Bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Notice how that increases the stretch down here. It's kind of going deep into your shoulder. And I know that you're all good at listening carefully to your body and not overstretching and breathing into the stretch. And again, just allow the breath to come out through your mouth, letting go of any holding. And then we're going to release the hand and at the same time lift your head back up on top. Great. And then just giving your hands a shake. Okay, we're going to come down to the ground. So roll your chin onto your chest, bend your knees, come down. When you touch the ground, let's come onto our back and bring the knees into the chest. Just pause in there for a moment. And then rocking from one side to the other. And then squeezing your knees into your chest. Roll your eyes up towards your knees, curling your back around, and carry on rocking from side to side. So you're rocking across your hips, massaging the back of your hips, lower back. Okay, from here, the little bear, great for the joints. So we stretch our legs up towards the sky and our arms up towards the sky. So it's like a reverse table, the table done on your back. So notice that your legs might be a little bit bent, and then just shake. Your voice can shake, your ankles, wrists. See if you can get that shaking all the way down into your belly as you really let it go in the comfort of your own home. Maybe you feel kind of a movement along your legs, to your knees, to your hips. And then just let it come to stillness, quite intense, all of that shaking. Just feel into your whole body, just hug your knees back into your chest again. Okay, then stretching your legs out onto the ground. Let's practice the supine twist. So bringing your legs stretched out in front of you and head on the ground. Bring your arms out level with your shoulders. And then place your right foot onto the top of your left knee. And rolling your right knee over towards your left side. And as you do that, your right shoulder wants to lift up and you come to a place where you can't roll anymore. So scooch that underneath hip underneath you. Come onto the side of the hip, and at that point your right shoulder can rest back down in the ground. And just bring your attention to that right shoulder, lift it off the floor and place it back. And with that movement, you can feel the mobility in your hip still as your shoulder stays close to the ground. And then turn your head to the right side to look at your right hand. If it feels good, bring your left hand up onto the top of your knee and just encourage the stretch through your lower back without forcing anything. It doesn't matter if your knees nowhere near the ground, that's not the point of the stretch. The point of the stretch is a twist, twisting through your spine, top of your neck, your abdomen, all of your internal organs getting a shake up and a twist and a squeeze. Just see if you can take 2 more breaths into that stretch. And you need to roll yourself back out. So step by step, the head, the hips, the arm comes back to the ground. Stretch your legs out in front of you. And then bringing your left foot onto the top of your right knee. Roll yourself towards the right side. And then as you can't roll anymore, lift up that right hip underneath you with a scooch. Left arm is out to the side, supporting. Right hand can come onto the top of the knee, lifting up your head and turn to look at the left shoulder. You're just using that top hand just to encourage the stretch without force. We're going to unwind, bringing the head into the center, bringing the arms out to the side, rolling yourself back into the center. And as you come back to lay on your back, just moving into any movement that would feel good in this moment. And coming to sitting. So we're going to do the joint mudra before we come into relaxation. So let me remind you. So find a comfortable seated position. So we bring on the right hand, the hands do different things. The thumb and the ring finger on the right hand, just touching. On the left hand, the thumb and the middle finger. And of course, in Chinese medicine, all of the fingers have different energy channels, acupressure points. So we are talking to those energy channels as we do this. The description just lets me know that it balances energy in your joints, knees, ankles, anything that's happening in your body. And it recommends that you could do them a few times a day and up to 15 minutes. So if you were just sitting watching the TV or something, you could just use this mudra. And it's about just listening to what's happening in your hands as you make that connection. Then let your hands rest down on your knees. And the affirmation that goes with this mudra: I enjoy my flexibility. It uplifts my soul and stimulates my mind. I enjoy my flexibility. It uplifts my soul and stimulates my mind. And you might be thinking, well, actually, there's some parts of my body where I don't have much flexibility. And you could just bring into this mantra, bring into this mudra just at the moment, some gratitude for being able to be here, being able to practice yoga within your capacity of your body, and knowing that there is flexibility there, even though it might be not the optimal flexibility. Always able to be with it, be with what's there. So let's just spend a few moments long, deep breaths. Maybe your own mantra comes to mind, something that's helpful for you. I enjoy my flexibility. It uplifts my soul and stimulates my mind. 2 more. Full deep breaths in and out. And allowing your hands to rest, letting go of the mudra. Just giving your hands a little gentle shake. And then coming down to lay on your back for Shavasana. So as you find your comfortable position, warm, probably cool down, and taking a breath in through your nose and exhaling with a sound out through your mouth. All of those movements that we've been doing in the breath. Find a place to settle. So lots of shaking this morning, and then we can settle. Everything can come back to a harmonious place, and from there take away the vital energy that we've released. So with particular focus on the work that we've done with the joints. Feel your ankles and your toes and the bones of your feet, letting go. Bringing in a smile of gratitude towards all those places, no matter how flexible they were. Just the fact that we've all the parts of us have taken part. Feel your knees. Perhaps your knees are supported with a cushion. You've given them that kindness and that support underneath your knees. And knees connecting to the hips. The hips resting, whole pelvic bowl coming to a place of rest, kind of heaviness, gravity, letting go, not holding any tension. Feeling the back of your hips, the sacrum, the very end of your tailbone, and those joints there that are more fused together, the sacrum, but still benefit a lot from movement. And feeling that all the way up your spine, in between your shoulder blades to the back of your neck, up towards your skull. All of those strong bones in your spine, the discs, the vertebrae, holding you upright during the daytime. And feel the shoulder blades resting, connecting to the shoulders, the top of the shoulders and the ball and socket joint. From there, there's a heaviness flowing down through your arms, elbows, wrists, fingertips. Allowing everything to come to. And there's joints in your skull, very small movements possible through your skull, and all of that coming to rest, to find its place of healing and rejuvenation. And enjoying the next few moments in a place of deep. resting where you are, coming back to your own breath. Perhaps your breath deepens, introducing some movement into your fingers and into your toes. Stretch or make any movements that the impulse comes from inside. Rolling on to your side, pausing there for a moment. And as you're ready, rolling yourself back up to sitting. And bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Having your heads below your heart as a sign of gratitude to yourself for coming to practice this morning. Perhaps there's an intention, perhaps it's towards all your joints today, giving them extra pampering, extra attention. And as you exhale, your eyes and your hands open, letting your intention move to where it needs to move. Namaste.